Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Pundit thinks 24-year-old Arsenal player is desperate for help right now. With Arsenal hosting Liverpool in a huge FA Cup tie today, it seems Eddie Nketiah could now have a huge opportunity up top. Nketiah is now expected to start as the number 9 in the wake of Gabriel Jesus now being a light doubt with an injury. The England striker endured a really poor performance against Fulham last time out, but there is still plenty who believe in his qualities, with Mikel Arteta clearly being one of them. And quite permanently, Tony Cascarino was discussing Nketiah's struggles on TalkSPORT this morning. The pundit was speaking before Jesus' injury news was shared and actually thought the Brazilian could form a good deal with Nketiah. Although that may now not be possible, Cascarino certainly had an interesting theory on how Nketiah's fortunes could improve at Arsenal ahead of today's Liverpool match. He said, Eddie Nketiah, I really like. I have said to Natalie numerous times, it does feel like he is a player who should be playing alongside a centre forward with stature because he is not a leader of the line, but he is a very sharp, good finisher, whereas Gabriel Jesus is versatile and plays different positions, does a lot of unselfish work. I mean, it's obvious that they haven't got enough goals there, but is there a solution with what Arsenal have got this season to be able to keep this challenge up? Of course, this change would see a significant adjustment to Mikel Arteta's system at Arsenal. Kai Havertz has an advanced position in the number 8 role, but has far more structural responsibility than a striker. Perhaps when fit, Jesus could be the man to often drop deep, as Cascarino suggests. However, it seems the reality is that Arsenal simply just need a striker who can play the number 9 alone. TalkSport Pundit now urges Mikel Arteta to start terrific Arsenal player more often. Tony Cascarino has urged Mikel Arteta to hand Emile Smith Rowe an opportunity in the Arsenal side. Emile Smith Rowe has struggled for minutes at Arsenal over the past 18 months after falling down the pecking order under Mikel Arteta. The Englishman was a key man during the 21-22 campaign, racking up a total of 33 Premier League appearances and netting 10 times, but Smith Rowe has only made 18 appearances in the league since the start of last season, with many coming from the bench. There have been suggestions that Arsenal could be ready to cash in on Smith Rowe, with Aston Villa reportedly keen, but Tony Cascarino wants to see the high-end academy product given a fresh opportunity under Arteta. Speaking on TalkSport, the pundit admitted that he believed Smith Rowe would develop into a top player after breaking into the Arsenal side, but Cascarino feels the midfielder has found opportunities hard to come by recently due to injuries. He said, I looked at Smith Rowe at Arsenal and I thought he was going to be a terrific player, and he is a terrific player, got loads of ability. He gets in the team, does really well, comes out of the team because of injury, comes back not quite the same. He's been battling ever since to get back in the team. I'd love to see Smith Rowe now because he's not been playing. He's not probably in the best peak condition he can be, and because he's not played enough football, and I'm a big fan of his. I've watched him from a young kid and watched him progress. There is a real player there, and sometimes you lose your way by being left out. While Smith Rowe has been slightly unfortunate when it comes to injuries, his lack of minutes isn't just down to his fitness. Even when the midfielder has been available, Arteta has shown he prefers other options in the middle of the park. There may come a point where Smith Rowe feels he has to move on in search of regular first-team football. Fabrizio Romano on Arsenal potentially seeking transfer to replace underperforming senior player. Transfer news expert Fabrizio Romano has provided some insight into Arsenal's plans to sign a new left back this January. The Gunners do seem to be exploring the market for signings in that area of the pitch this winter, but Romano believes this is more about strengthening the depth of their squad rather than actively looking for a replacement for Zinchenko. The Ukraine international impressed when he first joined Arsenal from Manchester City last season, but it's fair to say he's had some unconvincing moments this term, and it's the source of some debate between the club's fans. Still, speaking exclusively to Kaut Offside for his daily briefing column, Romano made it clear that he rates Zinchenko highly and he'd be surprised if Arsenal were looking for a new first choice left back to take over from the 27-year-old. There are no specific names being linked with Arsenal yet, but Romano says this is something that Mikel Arteta and other key figures at the club will be discussing and exploring this month. Romano said the following: "It's true that Arsenal could sign a new left back this January, but there are no specific names to mention yet. Arsenal will assess the market and discuss that internally, with Mikel Arteta also to be involved. It's important to clarify, however, that they will not be recalling Kieran Tierney from his loan at Real Sociedad. Some fans have also asked me what this means for Alexander Zinchenko, as there have been debates about if he's been at his best this season. My understanding, however, is that it's more about having depth in this position, so they are considering it and looking into possible options. Personally, I really like Zinchenko as a player, so I'd be surprised if Arsenal were actively looking to replace him." Michael Antonio says £30 million Arsenal player would be a fantastic signing for Newcastle. Newcastle United may need a new goalkeeper. Nick Pope is out for the foreseeable future, and while Martin Dubravka has been doing a good job as of late, you have to question whether or not he is a goalkeeper capable of taking the Magpies to the Champions League. Speaking on the Footballers Football podcast, Michael Antonio has been discussing Newcastle's goalkeeping situation, and he's touched on the idea of Aaron Ramsdale joining the Magpies. Antonio says that Ramsdale would be a very good fit for Newcastle, but he did have concerns about whether or not he'd be able to displace Nick Pope in the long term. Antonio spoke about the £30 million Arsenal man. He said, "I think it would be a very good fit. Newcastle like to play out from the back. Ramsdale can do that. We've seen him do that at Arsenal. He is a very good shot stopper and a good goalkeeper. The question I have is that when Pop comes back, what would they do? Pop is a very good shot stopper, one of the best, but he can't play out. Is Eddie Howe doing this so he can have a playing goalkeeper or just for the rivalry?" Ramsdale would be a great fit at Newcastle amid their current goalkeeping crisis, it has to be said. However, a move to St James Park may not suit Ramsdale himself all that well. Indeed, after spending most of the season sat on the bench, Ramsdale needs to join a club where he will be the undisputed number one. But at Newcastle, he would be competing with Nick Pope for that spot. Ramsdale is worthy of playing in the Premier League every week, and we think that he should join a club where he is guaranteed minutes rather than a club where he could quickly be relegated to the bench once again. Eurogiants send scouts to watch €30 million rated Arsenal prodigy. Juventus are always on the lookout for young players with huge potential who can help them in the long run. Charlie Patino is a player they admire, and according to a report by Calcio Mercato, the old lady had sent scouts to watch the 20-year-old in action. Patino joined the Arsenal youth ranks back in the summer of 2015. He has slowly come up the ranks at the club and is currently out on loan at Swansea in the Championship. He has featured in a total of 21 matches for the English Second Division club and has even contributed towards 8 goals. His impressive performance have resulted in a lot of interest, and Juventus are one of the clubs keen on having him in their ranks. Juventus scouts were present in the stands of the Swansea Stadium to watch the Arsenal youth product in action In an FA Cup fixture against Morecambe yesterday, the 20-year-old stole the show as he found the back of the net and helped Swansea register an easy 2-0 win. While Juventus are keen on having him in their ranks, Arsenal could end up being a huge obstacle for them. The Gunners value the 20-year-old at €30 million, and more importantly, they have never expressed the intention of parting ways with him. Arsenal ready to change transfer plans after becoming aware of players' bargain release clause. Arsenal are reportedly ready to delay their plans for signing a new left back as they eye up the potential bargain move for Jeremy Frimpong, which will only be possible when a £34 million release clause becomes active in the summer. The Dutchman has impressed in the Bundesliga and will surely earn himself a big move sooner or later, as he has all the qualities to shine at the very highest level. Arsenal signed Jurrien Timber last summer, but may feel that they could use him at centre back or left back in the long term, meaning there may be room for Frimpong to come in and make that right hand side role his own. According to Bild, Arsenal had some potential plans to sign a fullback this January, but the presence of that clause in Frimpong's contract this summer now seems set to impact the club's plans. This might be a bit of a risky approach, however, as Arsenal clearly need to strengthen this winter after a recent difficult spell that has seen them lose their place at the top of the Premier League table. Frimpong is the kind of player who could make a difference straight away, but the reality is that players of that caliber don't often get sold by their clubs during the middle of the campaign. Arsenal want to sign a brilliant £40 million striker and will sell first Timmer to make it happen. Arsenal are open to signing Bournemouth forward Dominic Solan in January as they look to add more firepower up top. It's widely known that the Gunners are keen on bringing in a new number 9 this month. Ivan Toney has been heavily linked with a move to the Emirates, while Solanke is a name that's also been mentioned in passing as well. And according to a report from the Daily Star today, Solanke is indeed a player Arsenal would be open to bringing in during January. According to the report, Arsenal would like to sign one of Solanke or Tony in January and are willing to sell striker Eddie Nketiah if they sense a deal can be done. It's been claimed that Arsenal will sell Nketiah for around £30 million as they have to balance the books for FFP if they do sign someone this month. Of course, Solanke has been in fine form this season. He smashed in 12 goals already for the Cherries and appears to have finally found his stride at the top level. Edin Nketiah has been long considered someone Arsenal will look to in future years, but now he is 24. He is at a bit of a junction in his career. If Arsenal are willing to sell him, then it suggests they might have seen enough, and really, given the goals he scored, Solanke would represent a bit of an upgrade. Solanke also has attributes that Nketiah lacks a touch. He is a bit taller, a touch quicker across the ground, and is very much a man in form as well. In terms of the here and now, Solanke might be the ideal signing in January for the Gunners. Arsenal can't let Man City beat them to £25 million star. He is the perfect player for Mikel Arteta. Partey is an outstanding football player, one of the world's best in his position, but he is simply not available enough. Many Arsenal fans consider that injuries have ruined his name at the club, meaning he hasn't been able to contribute to any project consistently. That being said, Arsenal's potential replacement for Partey will be a crucial one. Perhaps both Frankie de Jong and Joao Neves would be very smart signings for the club to superstars at the number 6. However, Bayern Munich Joshua Kimmich is the undisputed king, one of the finest players in possession of his generation, and amid fresh reports from the Daily Star that Man City could land Kimmich signing for just £25 million next summer, Arsenal need to act. Kimmich is the perfect midfielder for Mikel Arteta, and he could elevate this Arsenal team to trophy wins. It's a bold statement, but he really is that good. Kimmich's arrival in North London would allow Arteta to once again have a freedom with Declan Rice's positioning, also now consistently deployed in the pivot. It seems the Arsenal boss did want to explore the possibility of Rice playing as an eight. Arsenal proved that they can challenge City to the biggest of signings. Just look at Rice's arrival in the summer, and if Kimmich really is available at such a low fee, then it's a no-brainer for Arsenal. They have to make an attempt. Pep Guardiola is thought to be a huge fan of the 28-year-old German, who would add a wealth of experience to any team if he joins, and given Kimmich is also one of the world's best right-backs, he'd be the perfect player to add to Arteta's project. Signing a midfielder like Neves or De Jong would be a stellar signing for Arsenal, but Kimmich could be Arteta's game changer. It's rare that a player of such talent is available, and Arsenal can't afford to let the opportunity pass by. That being said, it seems Arsenal could be about to cash in on a £30 million player in this current window. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.